Hey, welcome back to my humble abode. It's very humble, as you can see. That piano cost $25,000, and I've never played it one time. So, uh, very humble, like I was saying. What's going on, y'all? Pardon my lateness. It's I got this big fancy house, as you can see, but no air conditioning, so I gotta do what I gotta do. I'll just, all right, so I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope that my show don't bring you guys down. It's not going to be a super. I don't want to. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's one of those human rights stories, man. It's just tough. So let's get right into it. So over the last couple of days, sorry, I can't hear. Over the last couple of days, I've been hearing people uh, commend China, like commend other governments around the country um, in response to how bad America is doing right now in regards to the coronavirus and in regards to, uh, I mean, the government. You guys come here for politics, so you know the government. But secretly, and I don't know if it is, kind of a secret. It's not mainstream, but I guess more people know about it now than when information first started coming out about it last year, and that is in regards to China um, locking up, essentially locking up like over 1 million Muslim people, uh, like in China, like in jails and camps. Now, for those of you that don't know, I'm terrible at pronouncing names and words, especially ones that are not English. So, if there's anybody watching this and you're offended, sorry. Um, so this group of people, and I know I only got 30 minutes, so I'm trying to rush through it. But if you guys got any questions or if you know anything about it, definitely put it in the comments, and I click around for you guys for sure. Um, the Uyghur people, pretty sure is a better pronunciation, are the group of Muslims, like I said, living in China, um, in the northwest part of China. The name of their area is Xinjiang. I feel like I know I'm saying it wrong, but this is the best I can do. So bear with me. If y'all want the spellings of these things, I can put them into the comment section. So you want to do your own research, feel free. So yeah, they're a Muslim population for the third time that are residing in China. They're in an area that's full of like natural resources, so like copper and it's two other like metals, like precious metals, I guess, like copper, that would be in that area that the most of them reside in, and uh, this has been 1 million people, about 1 million people, being held for religious reasons is said to be the biggest since the Holocaust. And I'm sure everybody's familiar with the Holocaust and what it is and what it means. Um, so when you say anything since, since the Holocaust, like that's huge. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I don't care what it is. Like you put anything against the Holocaust, that's a huge amount of people. Everybody know the impacts of that. Um, so you know, like that's huge. That's 1 million people. Um, Uh, they said they get all of these sanctions put on their cities, all these rules that they can and can't do from the like communist government in China. Um, uh, all these checkpoints where they're checking your phone, where you get on a train and you get checked, you get off the train, you get checked. Like I said, you driving somewhere, you just walking somewhere, and they of course they don't want you filming. It's all type of things that would make you suspicious to the Chinese government, and that suspicion, just a suspicion, is enough to get you put inside of a detention camp, like a work camp. I don't know how many of you guys have ever seen. Damn it, what's the total? Is it Total Recall? I think that's what Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like the future crimes. Like they they go get the criminals before they make the crime. Uh, Not Total Recall. It's gonna drive me crazy. I can't think of it. Anyway, whatever that movie is, where I want to say, I think it's Tom Cruise. I really can't remember. It's a movie where the police is like in the future, and the police go get these criminals before they commit the crimes, and like that's essentially what this is. They are monitoring these people, and when they are told or when they get these suspicions, then they go and arrest these people without actually doing the crime. Like it's one of the more amazing things I've ever uh, heard of. Like this is like a real Hollywood movie concept that they took to heart, like in China, and they're arresting Muslim people. Um, they have Minority Report. That's what it is. Thanks, Mom. Minority Report is the movie. I don't know if you Googled that or if you knew it, but either way, thank you. um, so in 2009, and for those of you who don't know, like China's pretty racist. It's a lot of Asian companies that are pretty racist, and that don't just mean to black people, because most of these Uyghur people, they're like Asian, but they're Muslim, like as a religion. Um, and a lot of people don't like them because of that. You know what I'm saying? The same way a lot of people in China or these different Asian countries don't like black people because of like all the stuff that they hear or whatever. Um, so it's the same way. So in 2009, with all these sanctions and stuff that were put upon them, they had like this huge riot where like 200 people, 209 Uyghur people were killed like during these riots and stuff. Because that was just, I mean, you look at what's happening in America. Like when you oppress people so much to the point where they have no choice but to fight, like this is kind of what becomes of it. So of that, 200 regular, I don't want to call them regular people, but nationalized Chinese people died because of that. And all it did was have the Chinese president put more sanctions on them to the point where now it's practically, not practically, there's actually cameras on every house entrance in this area, in this neighborhood. Every house entrance. Can you imagine being anywhere in America? I don't care if you live in the city. I don't care if you live in the country, but it's a camera on your door watching everything that you do. You know what I'm saying? Cameras on every street corner. And it's not for safety. This is for what they would consider flags. You know what I'm saying? What they would consider what raises their alarm, what's suspicious to them. And they have 75 things on this list. 75 actions, like just normal life stuff that me and you wouldn't even think about, wouldn't even consider. 75 things on the list. So of course, there's no way I can list all 75, but I wrote down a couple that just seem ridiculous, like normal stuff that you wouldn't think of. So I'll just run through them, and if any of these raise suspicion to you guys, then you definitely let me know. All right, so socializing more or less with your neighbors. So if you and your neighbors normally talk, once a day, now y'all talking 3-4 times a day, suspicious. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Have you put gas in someone else's car? Suspicious. Are you going through your front door instead of your back door when you come in and out of your house? Suspicious. Um, are you stocking up on a bunch of food? Are you fasting suddenly, like going on a water fast or going on a spiritual fast or something, which religions do. Like people, if you're a Christian, you got fasting, like all this stuff that's like normal stuff that you want to think about. If you apply for a passport, suspicious. If you smoke and or drink and then quit suddenly, like if you're like I'm quitting cold turkey, that's suspicious to them. If you have abnormal beards, so I'm assuming that would be like a racist Muslim beard type of a situation, but abnormal beards is what they say. If you decide to teach your kids at home instead of sending them to like government, like public schools or whatever, suspicious. Um, if you reject mass media, like so, if you browse the internet too much, or if you don't browse it enough, both of those are suspicious. Um, if you violate their birth control policy, that's suspicious. So like just all this stuff that a normal person or somebody living their normal life would not even consider being weird or suspicious. Or if you did these things, or if you seen your neighbor doing these things, like you would never in a day would you be like, man, I can't believe he put gas in Mr. Wilson's car. Like he's not Mr. Wilson. Like that's weird to me, and that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a real live crazy thing. Like birth control, of course it's different in different countries, but most places you wouldn't even bat an eye at that. Using your front door instead of your back door, like it's just crazy. Like it's like I don't know. This list is just it's 75 items on this list. Um, but I digress. I'll just keep going. Um, so this technology, the camera technology, where it's constantly watching and monitoring these group of Muslims. Um, Angel said, sorry, I'm grabbing my mouse. Angel said, so the camps are the countries. Oh, are like the United Nations and stuff. I'm assuming you mean coming in to help. Um, they are. Well, this is United Nations and its rules and stuff to everything that they can do. So, but what is going on is uh, they came in they it's like I call it like a college visit. If you ever had kids or went on a college visit for sports or whatever, they tell you to come on a certain date and everything is all cleaned up and they got your itinerary down. We're like, you're going to do this first, and then you're going to do this. Then we're going to have lunch. Like all the stuff is paved out for you. That way, you only see the school in the best light. Like you don't see anything negative because they get the best students as they call them because it is supposed to be a camp where they can learn skills and learn how to be better citizens and stuff. After they get taken away, they get those people. They put the most cheery people out front, not the guys that they're torturing in the back. So not the women who they're shocking with electric batons because they take too long in the bathroom. You put your most cheery people. You put your best classroom. You put your best teacher out there. So when the United Nations come in, all they see is the positive things. But then when you get people that actually went to this camp, when they come out and they're like, well, shit, I'm not about to stay here. I'm leaving. I'm going to a different country as soon as I can, whatever. And they get out and they start talking about their experiences in there. And you get more than one story reflecting the same thing over and over and over, then, it has to be true, Plus, this is China where they already censor so much stuff, internet-wise and media-wise in the first place. So yeah, the United Nations are trying to do like they did what they could as far as coming out to visit to find out if there's anything wrong, where they can start putting in sanctions. But to my knowledge, both of the times they've been there in the past year has been like staged visits, so they haven't had enough evidence to come down on them, I suppose. Regina said, in one of the apartments I lived in, I used my back doorway all the time instead of my front door. My neighbors were so nosy, it just worked best for me. All of those rules seem patrolling. Yes. So that's not even, man, like that's the light part of it. That's just a suspicious part of it. But the actual stuff that happens when you get into these camps, these re-education camps is the official name for them. Um, so 1 week in this past year, so from last July, um, they they had 24,000 people flagged as suspicious. Of the 24,000, they sent 15,000 to camp to go to classes, like I said, where the goal allegedly is to learn Mandarin Chinese instead of I'm blanking instead of I'm blanking. Why can't I think of what Muslims speak? I'm blanking. It's annoying. Hold on. Arabic. It's embarrassing. Sorry. So instead of speaking Arabic, which is uh, the language that they speak, the language they were born speaking, they take them to these camps and they force them to learn Mandarin Chinese, and they force them into a classroom where they're sitting for hours and hours listening to Xi Jinping, which is the president of China, speeches, and just listen to him talk for hours and hours. Um, they teach them uh, the Chinese national anthem. They teach them the Communist Party way. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it kind of sounded like it was like a brainwash situation where we're just going to teach you all of this stuff. It's so much to the point where you won't be able to remember uh, your own natural thing, your own, um, uh, uh, the stuff that you grew up doing. Like we're going to brainwash you to the point where you're not going to remember none of that stuff. And these people aren't in there for a year. I mean, it's 6 months or even a year for that matter. Like people are in there for years, plural. Like it's just insane to me. Um, so what else? Yeah. So now that it's getting more attention. Hopefully Regina brainwashing. That's what I was trying to think of. Now that it's getting more attention. Hopefully the United Nations will be back. They have received like pamphlets from like the inside, like that's been leaked or whatever. Pamphlets about not making sure just of course go to the staff, but about making sure people can escape. Um, Making sure they don't have any outside contact with the rest of the world. And by the rest of the world, I mean like their country, you know what I'm saying? Like with the rest of China. Like everything they had to do is contained in this prison city, essentially, um, for years at a time. Andrew said, it seemed like a bad movie. I can't imagine. Yeah, as much stuff is going on here, and I know the stuff is hard to focus on, uh, with how much stuff going on here with racial inequality that's going on forever, with police violence in general, not just with black people. You got the pandemic going on. You got the election going on. There's so much stuff that's going on. Like I know it's hard to focus on stuff that's happening on the rest of the world or whatever. But like it's some crazy stuff going on out there. I've seen the stat. I haven't done any research on it, so I don't know how true it is. So just take it as a throwaway stat. But like I've seen multiple times, but like I said, I haven't done any research. That there's more slaves around the world now than there was ever in the history of the world at any other time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just crazy to think about. You think about slavery as a whole back in the 1800s or whatever, 1600s. Um, but like you don't think about that there's more people enslaved right now than at any other time of the world. Like it's crazy. It's tough. Um, so I said it earlier. So I seen an interview with a woman who had been in these camps for about 2 years, man. And she was just telling the story about how like women only get two minutes in the bathroom. If you are longer than 2 minutes, like I said, you get shot with like a electric baton. Um, Even after you get shot, you still have to say, "Thank you, teacher. I won't be late again next time." Like or like some kind of a thank you. Like you had to say thanks for getting shot, essentially. Um, she was away from. I guess she had a daughter, like a younger daughter. Like I mean, like 1 or 2 years old, and she was gone for 2 years, man. Like 2 years of her kid's life. Like it's the most insane thing ever. And then for her just to pop up one day, like she just got released and just popped up at home one day. Uh, it's just crazy. Like no contact. Even here, at least here in jail, you can write letters, you can send pictures, you can visit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's none of that. It's no contact with your family, like at all. You know, one day or whatever, you just released. Um, so since I want to say so within the last year, with the United Nations coming out to visit a few times, they've moved the re-education camps to what is essentially just jail now, like United States jail, which would seem a little bit better, where you're in like another prison town. You can't leave there, like you can't leave and go back to your country, but you can walk around. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not just confined to like your room essentially. You can actually walk around and do stuff, but you can't go home. Like you can't go home to your family. And in these camps, these are more like work camps, like the workhouse, what they would call them in the states, where they are making those little disposable masks for like coronavirus. You know, the little blue masks you see everywhere. Where they're making Nike products, where they're making Volkswagen products. Like these big major companies are essentially being made with slave labor, like people who have been taken from their house and neighborhoods and country, forced to go to work camps because they were suspicious for going through their front door instead of their back door. Like, it's kind of insane, man. And China have all these uh, like videos, like what do you call them? Like not education videos, but like see, look, like these people, they love like this is just a normal job to them. They love coming to work and working for major brands like Nike. They look at them get off the train and their spick and span uniforms and all this stuff, like all these good nature videos, but they can't go home though. Like they're just missing out on the key human factors of some of the stuff. Regina said there was a movie called Claire. There's a movie called Claire Danes, uh, or is that the lady? I don't know. Or Claire Danes was in it. She had to be in a Chinese prison. I forgot the name. Other prisoners would completely rat each other up to help themselves get out. Like I would assume this is what it is, but this ain't just like normal prison. Like this is like we all Muslims or we all in here because of a religious faith. So like if I tell on you for being a Muslim or for praying, like is that gonna give me less time? Well, it might. Yeah, I'm more conditioned now, so I don't like to see Muslim praying either. So I'm gonna tell on them, and yeah, maybe they'll be like, "Oh, you've come a long way, so now you're able to get out of here." Regina, you might be onto something in that movie. Like Angel said earlier, it's like a movie. It's crazy. That's two movies that we didn't reference, and it's the plot of these movies is what's going on in the real world right now. It's insane. Angel said, our complaints are stuff like, poor me, I want to go on vacation. Yes, absolutely. People here are complaining about having to wear a mask or not wear a mask, where the people that are enslaved making the mask that you complain about wearing. Like I'm sure they wish that the least of their worries was that they had to wear the mask. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is a matter of perspective, and I don't want to get too far off on a tangent as far as like, oh, we don't have nothing to complain about, this and that, because we have our own challenges, although different, and although in the grand scheme of things might not be as important compared to the rest of the world, but we all, it's all a matter of perspective and what we go through every day. So I won't judge anybody for not knowing this or whatever, because I'm not, I didn't know about this last year myself. So last part, and this sad part, I guess, is essentially what people are starting to call this is a genocide, which the United Nations turned down the term because officially a genocide is killing a mass number of people, by definition, killing a mass number of people in a short period of time. This is killing a bunch of people, kidnapping, slowly killing off culture over a longer period of time. So in that area, I'm gonna try this name, the name again, or the area, or the city or whatever in China. Xinjiang, I want to say. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. But between the year 2015 and 2018, their population fell by 84%. 84% decrease in population. Nowhere, I've never seen a number like that. Even in World War II, when they was taking Jewish people from different countries and cities and stuff, never did an entire population fall by that much. Like that's kind of some of the more insane thing I've ever heard. And the reason people are calling it a genocide, the reason numbers has fell is because out of those, or I'm sorry, while in those camps, they are like the women and men are encouraged to marry traditional Chinese people, which of course would bring the population down, which means like when they procreate, chances are it wouldn't be like a Muslim kid, or even if it was, they wouldn't be in that area of the country where like that their religion wouldn't be passed on. They're forcing some women to be like and men to be like sterilized. They're forcing women that will have like IUDs inserted. All these restrictions and all this stuff, like learn how to be a good Chinese citizen so you can marry one of these Chinese women or marry one of these Chinese men, to the point where like it's eradication. It's crazy, man. Like I don't even know what else to say about it. That's crazy. I don't know. But hopefully you guys learned something. I mean, hopefully you guys are interested in, like I said, I know it's a lot to take in. I know 30-minute show. I know it's a lot it's a lot going on. Angel said she's going to send in Team America. So hopefully let's see what they can do. That was Korea, by the way, not China, but I know I get it. But yeah, man, like I know it's a lot going on, so it's hard to focus on this stuff. I mean, there's so much stuff going on in the country. It's hard to focus on the outside the country things. But I just want to give people some perspective that think that America is the absolute worst. And I mean, they're up there. Don't get me wrong, but they're not the absolute worst. And China damn sure shouldn't be getting any props for the communist stuff. Is whatever. Like their relationship with the United States is weird. But as far as how they treat their people, I can't get down with that at all. So I want to thank you all for joining me. Like I said, I hope you guys learned something or took interest, and feel free to do your own research. If you want me to cite my sources, I will for sure. I don't want nobody saying that I'm giving out bad information. I want to remind everybody that if you want to be a poll worker, please do so. Please sign up, especially if you live in a more urban area or just an area where you got more older people that usually work the polls and stuff because you got like a poll shortage of workers. Poll shortage of workers mean they had to shut down polls, which means further travel for a lot of people. Further travel for a lot of people mean they're not voting or whatever. So if you can, if you want to, you can get paid to do it. Go volunteer. I'm sorry, no, go work the polls. Like you get paid for it in Ohio. You actually get paid pretty good money. I think you got to go to like one class or something like that, but you actually get paid pretty decent. Um, if you don't know your county board of elections or whatever, if you go to powerthepolls.org, just put in your information. They'll give you the information for your board of elections numbers, addresses, and who to contact and all that good stuff, so that you can go work the polls and make sure that this election, make sure it actually happens. You know, you're not like immunocompromised or whatever. It's definitely a good thing to make sure that shit work. But like I said, thank y'all for sure. Not a cheery show. I'll try to make it more fun next time. Angel said it's like 3 hours of training for $75 and work the election day for $120. Approximately, that's the pay. Not bad money just for a couple hours. You know what I'm saying? Let's say 12, 13 hours worth of work total. Getting paid about $200, so you can't. It's actually not that bad. All right, but thanks for joining me. Look forward to seeing you guys Sunday. Ebony J got a show on Sunday as well. We coming at y'all with a bunch of shows, man. So just look out for that. Salute to the city as always. Y'all be safe out there, and I'll see y'all Sunday.